Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is LouAnn and welcome to my kitchen. That coffee's a brewing and you know there is some sweet iced tea in that ice box. And I could get the tea kettle on as well. So today's recipe is the first recipe from Pie November. What kind of pie is it? It's a chocolate chip pie. And of course it's from our featured cookbook for the month of November. So let me stop gabbing and let me get to going and making this pie because it is going to be delicious. So the first thing we got to do is to crush 10 graham crackers. I'm going to use my little mini one because I don't want to get out my big food processor. So I'm going to crush 10 of these graham crackers. Then I'm going to put this in a cake pan instead of a pie pan just because. So I'm going to crush them and then I'm going to put them in here and then I'll be back with the other ingredients because we got to make the crust for this pie. So to your graham crackers, this is 10 graham crackers crushed. We add 2 tablespoons of butter, which I have melted, and we're going to mix that all together because this is going to be our crust for our pie. So I'm going to get that all together and put it on the bottom of this pie, well, this cake pan. I'm using a cake pan today, and then I'm going to press it on the bottom and up the sides as much as I can. So I'll be right back with the next thing we need to do for our chocolate chip pie. So the recipe doesn't say to bake our pie crust, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow the recipe. I did as much as I could on the pie crust. I would think you would need to bake it, but we're not going to bake it. Recipe doesn't say to bake it. So moving on to the next part. The next part, I'm going to get ingredients ready. At least one of the ingredients before we go on. So I'm going to get the next ingredient, set this aside, and we'll move on. So now we got to grate 2 squares of bitter chocolate. This is unsweetened chocolate. I know I got a little bit of grating there, so I'm going to make do with that because we got to grate 2 squares of bitter chocolate. So I'm going to do that, put it in my 2-cup measuring cup, and then we will go on to the next step because I'm going to get this ready. We need this chocolate grated right now, so I'm going to get that done. So in a double boiler or a pot like a saucepan with water in it and get a bowl that fits on top, we're going to add 30 marshmallows, and I'm smelling my dairy here. Half a cup to 3/4 cup of milk because we're going to be melting this. So we're going to melt this and then let it cool. Got to melt these marshmallows. I'm going to let it cool because that is the next step. So we're going to melt these marshmallows and then let them cool with some milk. Well, we're melting them with milk, but we're letting them cool anyway. So now we need to take 1 cup of heavy whipping cream and we're going to whip this until it's firm. So do you remember that grated chocolate I grated? So now we're going to fold that into our whipped cream mixture and doing folding is like that. So I'm going to fold this chocolate in here, and this is bitter chocolate, not that old sweet stuff. So we're going to get that done, and then I'll be right back. Now we're going to take our whipped cream mixture that we just mixed up, and we're going to fold it into our marshmallow mixture real quick. So I am working on folding this in. So now we're going to pour our marshmallow whipped cream mixture into our pie crust. And I left it a little bit chunky just because. So now I am going to sprinkle some chocolate chips in there just on top. You could do some machino cherries on here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in the fridge and let it cool for overnight or at least 3 to 4 hours. So there is our chocolate chip pie.